Hey, today we're going to do some 7th grade review, and we're going to review integers and substitution. So get your notebook ready, your learning log. We're going to take notes in there today, not in our new note packet yet. Put your title, Integers and Substitution Review. We have 4 rules that we're going to review with you today. Adding integers, subtracting integers, multiplying integers, and dividing integers. Feel free to pause this and write all of those rules down, and then you can listen to me talk about them. I'm going to start with adding. When you're adding integers, if they have the same sign, you just add and keep the sign. So if we have -3 plus -6, same sign, they're both negative, we're going to add them. It's 9, and we're going to keep that sign. If you have different signs, you actually subtract, and you keep the sign of the integer with the greatest distance from 0. So if we change our problem just a little bit and go +3 plus -6, these are different signs. So we're going to subtract. 6 minus 3 is 3, and we're going to keep the sign of the integer that's the greatest distance from 0. Who's a greater distance from 0? -6. So your answer is -3. Now, subtracting integers, big focus in 7th grade was the idea that subtraction means opposite. So the integer that comes after that subtraction sign, you take the opposite of it. Take the opposite of what directly follows the subtraction sign, and then follow your adding rules over here. All right, so if I have -8 minus 2. We look at our integers. Here's a -8. That subtraction means opposite, so opposite of 2. So what we really have is a -8 and a -2. Same signs, you add them. -8 plus -2, that would equal -10. Now we could have a similar problem where we have 8. We'll make it positive this time. And then we'll change our second integer to 10. 8 minus 10. +8. The opposite of 10 is a -10. So we have a +8 and a -10. Different signs, subtract. 10 minus 8 is 2. 10 is a greater distance from 0, and it's negative. So our answer is -2. Make sure you write these examples down in your notes as well. They will help you with then the practice that we do going forward. All right, multiplying integers and dividing integers. They have the same rules. If they're the same signs, it's a positive. If they're different signs, it's negative. So for multiplying, -4 times -3, same signs, will be +12. -4 times a +3, those are different signs. So our 12 becomes negative. You can do the same thing with the dividing example. Let's do -8 divided by -2. Same signs. So you get a +4. -8 divided by 2. Different signs. You now get a -4. Make sure you get these notes complete before going on to the next slide. You might want to pause. I'm going to erase and switch my slides. All right, so now we're going to practice those integer rules with some algebraic expressions using substitution. So here's our substitution part of the review. Substitution is replacing a variable with a value. Substitution is replacing a variable with a value. Remember, variables are our letters, and they are in problems when it's unknown what their value is. All right, so I have some problems set up with variables, and I'm telling you what the variables equal. We're going to solve if A equals 2, B equals -4, C equals 3, and D equals -2. That's a -2 there. Our first example is A minus B. So I'm going to substitute in. A becomes 2 minus B is a -4. And I put that -4 in parentheses to hold that negative to that number. 2 minus -4. Remember, subtraction means opposite. So the opposite of -4 is +4. So we have 2 and 4. Think to your addition rules. Same signs means add. So you get +6. B divided by D, -4 divided by -2. Think about your dividing integer rules. Same signs. What kind of integer are you going to get? Hopefully you said positive. You get a +2. This is a multi-step one. 2 times C, when that number is right next to the variable as a coefficient, that means to multiply. 2 times C minus D. 2 times 3 minus a -2. Be very careful with your substitution. That's a negative, so you want to use those parentheses to hold that negative to that 2. PEMDAS tells us to do multiplication first. 2 times 3 is 6. And then we have opposite of -2. That becomes a +2. +6, +2, same signs. Add. 6 plus 2 is 8. And then we have B times C. So I'm going to substitute in -4 times 3. Go to your multiplying integers rules. 1 negative, 1 positive, different signs. Your product will be negative. That sums up our review.